I started my business in November 2019. And just a few months later, COVID came. So I had not done much because now remember when I started in November, there was the whole part of production and there were quite a number of items. So by the time we finished and then the photography, the website, that was almost now in January. Then after less than 3 months, COVID came, so I could not do business.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.
My name is Veronica Gakio. I'm the founder of Ankole Luxury. Ankole Luxury is a brand that makes both jewellery using cow horn, brass, and semi-precious stones, as well as crochet bags. For the crochet bags, we've partnered with a group of women, several groups of women who work in the rural communities who make our bags, and then we do value addition using leather finish and maybe wooden handles.
What inspired you to start Ankole Luxury? And how did you came about with, the idea of using horn, brass, and stones for your jewelries and accessories?
I've always been a person who likes unique things, especially jewelry. So when I was a teenager, I'd just buy the normal Chinese jewelry being sold, and then I'd always work around it, change things here and there so that I have something very unique. So when I came to know about that horn can be used to make jewelry, then I decided to open my own brand, and which focuses a lot on custom-made jewelry, and we also don't do mass production. We do till a certain number of items, especially for our B2C clients, so that they can also have that feel of having unique items that they're wearing.
Can you give us the estimate of amount of money you use in starting your business, and what aspect of your business you use the money when you were starting?
So I started with around, I think, almost 300,000 Kenya shillings. So how I used the money is I did a website, then I did production of my first line. So it involved a lot because to get the items on the website, I also had to do professional photography.
So can you share with us the specific challenge you have faced, while establishing Ankole Luxury, and how did you overcome it?
Challenge is trying to get people to understand that horn jewelry is actually very unique, very bespoke items. Because I don't know about other countries, but I know in East African countries, people relate horn to something that has been trashed, so it should not be something that's expensive. While we are trying to educate people that, and even having maybe videos on our platforms, social media platforms, trying to show people like, by the time the horn gets to that small piece that's on your jewelry, it's quite a huge process because we cut the horn, we boil the horn, we flatten the horn, then we start tracing to suit the shape we want. So it takes a whole lot to get a small piece from that big, large horn. So people have been starting to understand it and actually starting to appreciate the Africans. They're starting to appreciate our jewelry more than the white clients.
Found out that you work with artisans and some women groups. How do you ensure fair wages and ethical working conditions for the both groups, both the artisan and the women group you work with?
Yes, I pay them fair wages because whenever there's a new collection for the jewelry, I sit down with the artisans because these are not in my workshop. They are people I outsource, but they are particular people I work with. So we sit down and discuss this particular new design that I'm making. How much do they feel is fair to them to charge me, not to overprice me, but to always have into consideration that I'm also in business, and we've been working quite well. So we always sit down, discuss. This is the amount. We both agree on it. And everybody is happy, both them and me. When it comes to the women, they already have their set prices. If they make this particular bag this size, this is the amount of money I'll give the woman. It's something that we sit down and discuss for both teams.
As they say failure is part of business. So can you share with me the time you have failed in business and how you moved on.
I started my business in November 2019, and just a few months later, COVID came. So I had not done much because now remember when I started in November, there was the whole part of production, and there were quite a number of items. So by the time we finished, and then the photography, the website, that was almost now in January. Then after less than 3 months, COVID came, so I could not do business. So I was stuck with these items. I've spent my savings of 300,000 Kenya shillings, and I've got nobody to sell to. So for me, 2020, I was not doing any business. I cannot say I was in business. So I almost gave up. Then I even through my friends encouraging me, 2021, I started doing it, but slowly selling to friends, trying to get rid of the stock that I had made. Then when I realized now people are starting now to know about my brand, sometimes like, for example, early last year, I'd go for, these workshops, and people like, oh, you're Ankole Luxury. I saw your item with someone and I love your product. So I started now realizing that people have recognized my brand, and I now need to really put my all back into it.
So I read so much about your brand, and I had to pick one or two things. And one of the things I picked was sustainability, which is a key part of your brand. So how do you ensure that your manufacturing process align with the environmental, friendly practice of what you are doing, based on sustainability being key part of your brand?
So for the horn, I believe as much as we are buying the horn, it's no longer being picked from how it used to be discarded all over. I believe the fact that now we started using horn, not just me, but other brands started using horn, it helped with cleaning the environment, because now horn became some important commodity. So it's no longer trash, but it's treasure. So Ankole and other brands using horn has made it to be more of a treasure. Hence now it's no longer polluting the environment as it was before. Then when it comes to brass, we always try to use as much as possible, unless pieces that are not possible, but we use recycled brass. We go to these big factories, and they're small pieces that they are not using. That's what we buy from them, so that they don't just discard them in the environment. Then when it comes to packaging, whenever I have to involve anyone to do our boxes, I have to hear their story. They have to let me understand where they get their boxes, because if they're not environmental friendly, I can't use. So the packaging we are using right now is used from recycled paper from Tanzania.
Okay.
So yeah, we try as much as possible, unless now where we can't, but we try to use as much as possible sustainable materials.
Have you been funded before? And how did you raise your fund if you have been funded before?
No, I've never been funded, and I've actually not so far. I've not applied for any funding. I've felt like for now I've been always self-funding my business.
Another thing I picked up from your business was collaboration, and collaboration seems to be a significant part of Ankole Luxury. So could you elaborate how partnerships with local artisans and women group contribute to the brand success and social impact of your business?
So from the success stories we've had from our partners, both the women and the artisans, is through us giving them work, they are able to feed their families. They're able to educate their children. So that collaboration or partnership works very well, because it's a win-win for both parties. And then we also collaborate with other brands. Like we do leather items, but we don't make it ourselves. So we work with a company that does all the parts from A to Z for our leather bags, because we do leather bags. So we felt like instead of me also doing the same thing that my friend is doing, why not collaborate with her? Just give her a design. This is the kind of bag I want. This is the kind of leather belt I want. And then she does it for me. So I feel like collaborations and partnership is what we need to enhance more. And we are all going to benefit at the end of the day.
I've realized that marketing is a key aspect of every business. Without marketing, there's no business. You might have a good product, but when there's no marketing, the product won't sell. What marketing strategy have you used to attract and retain customers for your brand?
So I've been more focused on paid posts and ads on social media. So that has already given us so many clients, even not only in Kenya but even in US, in regionally and other countries. Just by the fact that we do the paid post, we try to do as many as possible, so that we can reach a wider audience. And it's been working for us, because now whenever I've been doing like a feedback from our clients, so whenever someone approaches me, be it a B2C or a B2B, I've always been asking them, where did you get to know about us? And they've been telling us, I've been interested in buying things from Africa, and then your page just popped up when I was scrolling my Facebook or my Instagram, and I decided to read more about the brand, and I liked what I saw. That's why I want to buy products from you.
Outside social media, that there's no other form of marketing strategy you're using?
The word of mouth, and then even the clients who've bought items from us, they've also, through them carrying our products or wearing our jewelry, we've also gotten people wearing our products. Also attending pop-up markets, exhibitions, both Kenya and outside of Kenya, has also helped us. And then now I'm in talks with some marketing company, whereby we want to sit down and see how best they can help us, so that we can even get more audience coming towards our pages.
From what I read, you stayed in Dubai. You worked as human resource manager. I hope I'm correct. I hope I'm right.
No, the human resource admin. I studied human
Admin.
resource management. Yes.
How does that aspect of your life help you in running your business today?
Before being a HR admin, I used to be a personal assistant, and in both being a PA and a human resource administrator, it needs a lot of discipline. It needs a lot of planning. It needs a lot of follow up. So it gets you to be very, let's say, neat in what you do. When you start something, you have to actually finish it. So it's helped me to actually not just start something when it comes to Ankole, but to start and finish it. That's why when I was starting the business, I didn't just make 2-3 pieces and then started selling. That's why I started a whole line of collection. I did the website, proper photo shoot. And that's the discipline that I gained from being both a PA and a HR administrator. Getting things in order, getting organized, and you know how it happens when you're in that field. There's a lot of discipline involved.
Fashion is a dynamic industry. How does Ankole Luxury stay ahead of trends while maintaining its commitment to traditional craftsmanship and ethical production?
I always try to see what other people are doing, be it my competitors or even brands that do clothes, because they also accessorize. I like keeping updated on the trend. So I always visit influencers. I always see what celebrities are wearing. But in the process of doing that, because people have told me, why don't you do just brass? And I always tell them, my main product here is the horn. So because I know horn is related to the culture, so I always tell people, as much as people would think that brass alone would sell better, but I want to also maintain this horn aspect of the materials. So I just adjust and maybe do, if people are saying that because before people used to say my pieces are very bold. So in the process, I just make some tiny horn, if it's earrings, with a very tiny piece of horn. And then people are actually appreciating it, instead of doing away with what I feel is like let me call it the main ingredient of my brand, which is horn. If I drop the horn, the company would lose meaning of being called Ankole Luxury. It's a tribe, and then they have those cows with very big horn. So I picked that so that it also will help me with the. I have to be disciplined, and I know my company it has been named with Ankole Horn, so I can never drop the horn unless now I drop even the name, because I cannot say my company is called Ankole Luxury and there's no horn in my business. So why am I calling it Ankole?
Why choose a name from Uganda? Why not from your country, Kenya?
Because I use Ugandan horn. Their horn is very big. They are very strong. So Kenyan horn can easily break, especially when you're doing the bangles, because it's quite light. I don't know if it's what they feed or what, but you know how if you've seen the Ankole horn, and also cows from Sudan, I think South Sudan, they have very big horn. So I decided, since I'm using horn from Uganda, I might as well adapt that name. And it also gets people curious.
That's why I'm asking the question. That means in the nearest future, you have an office over there in Uganda.
Yes, I've been talking to a few Ugandans, and whenever I meet a Ugandan, like, are you from Uganda? Because there's a bit of you can't differentiate maybe a Kenyan so much from a Ugandan. I tell them no, so they always like, you should sell to, they're called Nyankole community. Why don't you sell to the Nyankole community? They'll really appreciate your brand because you're not Ugandan, you've embraced their name, so they'll really buy. And I've actually experienced that. I met someone through my friend, and he actually didn't have the need to buy my items, but he bought simply because he's a Ugandan from Nyankole community, and he was just really excited to see a Kenyan using their name to name her brand, where they could have just called it any other name.
Looking ahead, what are your plans for expanding Ankole Luxury, both in terms of product offering and social impact initiatives?
So for social impact, I plan on working with more women from the rural communities so that we maintain that crochet technique, because this is something that our grandmothers used to do. So I'm encouraging the women, because I started with one group from one community, but I've been engaging other women from other different communities. So we've been training them so that this skill does not die, because of late Africans in general have been trying to adapt so much of the white man's behavior and culture and everything that we are forgetting to maintain our own culture. And since making crochet has been our culture for quite a long time, for many generations and generations, I want not just to work with the old women, but encourage them to train their young girls so that this culture does not die with them.
Being a mom is a full-time job, and how do you combine your role as a mom with your role as a founder? How do you combine it and manage your time effectively, whereby one aspect of your life is not suffering?
When I used to work, when I was employed, it used to be a struggle because I have a special needs child. She has autism. So I felt like when I could come home, maybe I'd come with stress from work, and then maybe her with her condition. It was also not, everything was so much for me. So I decided, I think working from home, if I open my own company and then I start working from home, I'll be able to give her the attention she needs so that she can thrive because of her disability. And also I'll avoid now the stress from the workplace. And it actually worked very well because I was able to even help her more. So there are so many things she wasn't doing, but because I'd give her a lot of attention when she came home from school, she thrived and she got better in so many ways that I cannot explain. So I think opening my own company and working from home has helped me, even being there for my daughter more. I spend more time with her now.
Do you encourage African women to work more from home in order to be able to take care of their kids, their family?
Yes, I do, because when COVID came, it made people realize that we don't need to be meeting physically. Like you see now, I'm having a meeting with you, you're in Nigeria, I'm in Kenya, and we're interacting like we're seated on a table together. So I think technology has come to help us so much that you can work from anywhere. I also actually have an evening job that starts in the next 2 hours, and it's for a company in US. So I'm not only working for Ankole, but I have this other job in the US. I've never met my boss, but she's related to one of my friends. But you see now, I can even work for a company in US. I can have a meeting with you in Nigeria. So, and I even be able to do even a lot with my daughter when she's not in school. I can even be able to do a few tasks, house tasks here and there, because we waste so much time moving from point A to B, while you can just create some space in your house or build something outside. For us in our own compound, you can just build your own small office and work comfortably.
What is advice to other entrepreneurs, especially women who wants to start their business or are just starting out?
And tell them, don't limit yourself. If you have an idea, go for it. However crazy it might sound, however big it might look, just start small, going up, and don't be discouraged by anyone. Maybe those around you might not understand your business, but as long as you've set your goal, you know what you've already done your research, your market research, and this is going to be a profitable business at the end of the day. don't be limited by people who don't understand your business and they're trying to discourage you, because I had a little bit of that given the materials I was using, but now I have no regrets. I'm quite happy that I didn't listen to anyone.
Are you looking to hire for a certain position right now in your company?
Sorry, am I looking to do what?
To hire for certain positions right now in your company?
No, I don't have positions.
For those
I'm
that want to
hiring.
work with you. Yes.
No, I'm not hiring for any positions at the moment. The only thing I'm doing is looking for more women who can do my crochet bags.
Where can we go and learn more about you and about your brand?
On social media for the company, it's both from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's Ankole Luxury, and then for personal, for Facebook, it's Veronica Gakio. On Facebook, my personal Facebook, I talk a lot about autism, and then also on LinkedIn as Veronica Nyakianda. They can learn more about both my personal and work.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma, for your time, and I really appreciate you for creating our time and equally for reaching out to us. I wish you all the best in your business.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.